dope ass dude podcast. Transparent conversation. Real life stories. Hustling, grind, transparent conversation. Real life stories. Hustling, grind.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your boy, the dope ass dude. Happy Monday to you all, and I am really excited to be back with you guys on tonight. I see we already have Karen Billington in the comments. What's going on, Karen? And Pat, what's going on, Pat? So happy to see you all in the comments already. But I'm really excited about tonight, and my guest, she's extraordinary, so I can't wait for her to get out here and tell you guys her story. But you guys already know the preliminary things. If you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, if you don't mind going ahead and subscribing to the YouTube channel, and while you're there, click on notifications so that you can be notified each and every time a new podcast is uploaded to the site, and then click on like so that it can be shared with others just like you. And then if you aren't able to catch the podcast on Monday nights, you can always catch it on the go on Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Again, that's Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. And then you guys already know you can catch it live each and every Monday on Facebook, LinkedIn, X, and YouTube. So again, that's Facebook, LinkedIn, X, and YouTube. And if you are not following me on Instagram and TikTok, you can follow me on both of those platforms at the Dope Ass Dude Podcast. And that's both on Instagram and TikTok. If you don't mind going out and following me on those platforms, that would be amazing. And then we're going to get Alana's information out of the way. I hope I didn't just delete that because I just saw it. Let's see. Okay, here we go. So we're going to get Alana's information out the way. You can follow Alana on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. And on YouTube, she is The Bold Bet with Alana Miller. So that's on YouTube. You can follow her at The Bold Bet with Alana Miller on YouTube. And then on Instagram and TikTok, you can find her on both of those at The Bold Bet. So you can find her on those platforms. So again, let me get that to you one more time. You can follow her on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. On YouTube, it's The Bold Bet with Alana Miller. And then on Instagram and TikTok, it is just The Bold Bet. So I've known Alana for probably about 15 to 20 years. I've known her for about 15 to 20 years. When I first met Alana, she was in her early 30s, and she was a member of the young adult choir at a church that I played for. And one thing I must say about Alana, to me, she just seemed like she's always been ahead of her time. I remember when I met Alana, she had already purchased her first condo. I think she was living out in Allen or McKinney. It was one of them. And she was already like in leadership on her job. And she was just doing some extraordinary things. And I just never forget, Alana was always one of those people, you try to say, hey, Alana, you want to do this here? She was always, well, let me check my calendar. Let me check my calendar. And this is like 15 years ago. I'm like, if she don't put that calendar down. But she was always like, let me check my calendar, because she's always been a person that has always been on the move. And that's one thing I love and I respect about her. She is a visionary, and she always have a plan, she's always on the path to somewhere. And I love that about her. And I'm going to bring her on now because she can tell y'all about herself a little bit better than me. Alana, what's going on?
Hey there.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. I can't complain.
And you can send me my check for that introduction.
I need to record that introduction. I'm gonna have to use that. That was good.
It's all truth, though. It is all true. Like I share, you've always been like ahead of you, ahead of time. Like I said, when I first met you, you already had your first place and everything, and you were in leadership on your job, and you was on the move. Like, so have you always been that way?
I appreciate that. I have, and I contribute that to my parents. Honestly, my mom and my dad have always been pushing me. I was raised as an only child, and so there's a little bit of that only child syndrome where you tend to be leader. Either it's the only child and the first child. They say tend to be leaders, and so I definitely had that leader in me from very, very young, always very outspoken, always gonna take the mic when I had the chance. So yeah, that's always been me. Straightforward, upfront, never afraid of my voice, always been have a strong voice, and yeah, been a leader for a long time.
And I
Even
love that.
for it.
Never afraid of my voice, because a lot of times people feel silence. They feel silence. And I love how you said, I've never been afraid of my voice. So, and you were that way as a child. And then do you find that voice has gotten louder as you've grown older?
Absolutely. And I can almost say that in each section of my life, if you will, that voice has changed. It has been a different voice. It's been loud for a different reason. It's been outspoken for a different reason. And here lately, probably in 45 plus now, right? 40, I'm 47, but 40, 45 plus, I have seen my voice grow in a way that has honestly surprised me a little bit, if I'm honest. And I'm unafraid to push other people, and I want to push other people to have that same voice for themselves. And so it's grown in a way where I want to share it, right? Like I want to share how I got here, how I built that voice for myself, how I built that confidence in me. And so that's part of the reason that I decided to do relaying. You see my relaying in the background. That's part of the reason I decided to do that, was because I wanted to teach other people. I wanted other people to have that voice and feel confident in their voice and feel confident in their vision, and help them build their strategy, and then help them get to action, and then help them get to impact, right? So
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So I'm getting ahead of myself already. So I already told you. Yeah, I'm getting out high as me. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Alana. Tell us everything that you have going on, and then we'll dive into it. So tell us a little bit.
absolutely. So I am Alana Johnson Miller. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a podcaster. I am a life strategist. I'm a disruptor, and I'm the founder of Relaying Consulting. I'm also the host of the Bold Bad podcast, which is on a little bit of a break right now, but it's coming back just because of all the things that I have going on. I'm a student. I'm working on a master's of public health degree right now. I'm a daughter. I'm a wife. Um, and I'm a stepmom. So I got all the things in the fire that you can have in the fire. I have about 25 years of experience in leadership, corporate leadership, building strategy, mentoring people, developing people. I'm a people person. People ask me all the time, that I feel like this is the world of introvert right now. Everybody's proud to be an introvert. I am a staunch extrovert. I'm an extrovert on 10 times 10. And so I love being around people. I love pouring into people. But I didn't just wake up one morning and become qualified to be an entrepreneur either. I decided to put a name. I decided to put some structure. I decided to put some value around what I have been doing for free for years. People would reach out to me on LinkedIn and say, "Hey, can you help me do this? Can you help me get into this industry? Can you help me to um, uh, figure out how you do what you do? Like, how do you keep up with all the things that you have going on?" And I used to gladly get that advice for free. And somebody said to me one time, "Why don't you monetize that?"
Yep.
And so I was like, really? Like, how? How do you even monetize talking to people? And, I just started watching other people and what they were doing and how they were doing it. And I threw it out there one day, build me a website, threw it out there. You can pay me to be your mentor. You can pay me to consult you on how to achieve what I have achieved. And people started paying me. So here we go. So um I was starting from that experience though. Like I didn't just pick that up out of nowhere. I started because I had the experience and I had the interest and the know-how and the ability to support people. And that's what betting on yourself is.
So let me ask you this here because I was just about to talk about that whole monetize thing. So when you started monetizing it, was that a transition, a huge, a hard transition for you? Because a lot of times we like you said, we do stuff for free all the time, and we do it because it's a natural thing for us. And then when we have to put a dollar amount on it, and we have to introduce it to people we've been giving free advice to all the time. Now you're gonna have to pay me for it. Was that a hard transition, like no longer giving it away for free to people and making them give you what it's worth?
Honestly, it was not. Um People respected it. And I kind of gave people the forewarning, right? Like people who I was giving that information to for free, I gave them that forewarning. I let them know, I'm thinking about, I kind of ran it past them. I'm thinking about monetizing this, like how, I wanted to bring them along the journey with me. And some were like, oh, that's great. And then they moved on and found them another free person to to
Mhm.
ask questions too. And that's fine. And I still talk to people, right? It's hard for me not to. But I won't sit down in a full 30-minute session like I used to for free. I won't sit down in a full hour-long session for free. Sure, I can maybe help you run through an idea once or twice, in the middle of a regular conversation, but it won't be my undivided attention and my consistent approach to you. And right, I have
Do pe-
structure now too. So
yeah, do people want you to give them a discount?
I think, John, you know me. People scared to ask me that.
Oh my God, because it's so funny. It's a lot of people who have brilliant offerings to give to people, and they are giving it away for free. And like I said, when they do, like you said, the people who don't want to pay, they go and find someone else that is going to give it to them for free. And that's unfortunate. It really is unfortunate, but it's that whole crowd mentality. People don't want you to get no higher than them. So they're not going to pay you because they don't want you to be rich, and they not, and all of that. And but that's why people are in the positions that they are in too. Uh, position of lack because their mind is not the right thing. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later because you said that in one of your videos. But their mind is not right of supporting you because they don't want you to get no further than them. That's real kind of sad.
And sometimes people can't afford it, and I respect that too. You know, keep growing, keep building your income too, so that you can afford somebody like me. And so I don't dismiss people when they say, okay, well, I have to move on to somebody else who's free, because I understand that's just the space that you're in right now. And I keep a little something in their ear too, because eventually, hopefully, things will turn around and you'll be able to afford me. So
Yeah. And then some people that could be thinking like, oh, well, she don't want to help her friends out, or they don't want to help their friends out. But this is a business. This is not something that you are lusting doing, just going and doing it. Oh, I just want to do this today. No, it's thought that comes into it. It's preparation that comes into it. So it's a lot that you invest behind the scenes that people don't even see. That's what they paying for. You're paying for all the extra stuff you don't see.
hmm yep, all of the structure, and even the marketing, right? Like the website, the providing an opportunity for people to see what you do, having I have had, when I launched my podcast and the consulting business, I had an event where I invited people out and I interviewed people on the spot and I talked to people right there. And so those things cost. Those things, you have to pour back into investing in your business. You have to be able to reinvest in your business continuously if you want it to grow. That's just the truth of business.
Yeah. So I was watching one of your videos on TikTok, and I was really shocked when you said this in the video, but you said that when you got ready when you were gearing up to start your podcast, you was a little bit afraid. So let's talk about the Bo Bet. So that's the name of your podcast. So why were you, and you even kind of shocked yourself because you was like, you a natural talker, you're a natural leader, but you found yourself a little bit afraid to step out there. What do you think was driving that?
The fear. I think, and people say this all the time, so it's a little bit cliche, but people say all the time, if your dreams don't scare you, then they're not big enough. People say that all the time. I hear that often. And in some ways, I feel like that's true. When you go to do a podcast, this is your voice that people are now going to be able to judge, and people are going to be able to have comments on how you do this and how you say this and all this stuff. And it's like, oh my gosh, like I'm a little nervous about how people are going to receive me. Are they going to talk about how I look? Are they going to talk about my clothes? Social media has people being ostracized for simply being in the grocery store, and they don't even know the person. They're recording somebody from the background. And so it's all those things. All of that contributes to that little bit of fear. Is my voice even something that people want to hear? Like, I know that the people who I talk to in person seem like they are interested in hearing what I have to say. But is the greater public interested in hearing what I have to say? I don't know. And then what do I say? Like, what? I have so many things in my arsenal to talk about. What do I focus on, and how do I figure out which one of those things is the right thing at the right time to talk about? And so it's all of that. All of that goes into building the fear, the failure. You're afraid of the failure. But one thing I'm confident in failure is that I believe failure is a little bit of freedom, right? Like, I have failed several times doing this podcast. The very first time I had a big platform. One of my sorority sisters had this event, and she was like, Alana, I want you to come and do your podcast at my event. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, this was the first time I was going to do it in person. And I was like, got all these things together. I had somebody make balloons for me. I had all kinds of accoutrement, the camera, the lights, the microphone. Did this recording for about 3 hours. Not one thing got recorded. The sound was muted the whole time. But I spent all that time and energy. Now, the people it was live, so there were probably maybe 100 people in the room, so they got a chance to hear it. But I really wanted to be able to share that with the public, and wasn't able to do it. I did one podcast where I did it virtually at home, and I was talking to a young lady who had an amazing story to tell, and I really feel like I failed her, right? Because I didn't give her story the opportunity that it could have had because of my failure, unpreparedness, right? And so you start to see that they talk about your 1,000 hours, your 10,000 hours. Have you spent the time? Have you dedicated the time to perfect your craft before you get out there and do it? And so as I think about those things and preparing, all those failures really did give me the opportunity to learn this podcast business, to learn about the platforms, to learn about the tools of engagement, to learn about how to interview people. And so while I was failing, I was learning. I call that failing forward. You should always fail forward, and you should always fail fast. And I stuck to those rules in this space. This was early on. I failed fast. I failed forward. I continued to push forward and continue to learn. But failure is freedom. Sometimes failure tells you that ain't the right way. go that way. You headed down the wrong path. So I appreciate the failures. Yeah, it was scary. Do it scared. I stand by that. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, because the thing is, okay, well, before I speak anything, so how did you overcome? Let me do that. How did you overcome that fear? Because a lot of times people don't overcome it. They will allow that voice that says, well, nobody want to hear what you have to say or what qualifies you to be the person to deliver that message. And they stop. They stop. So how did you overcome that?
One day I woke up and I said, I'm going to just do it. I went and sat on my back patio. I think one of the recordings that you shared was one of the first ones that I did. I worked out that day. And I said, as you know how I have on the makeup, I said, I'm going to go and do this recording on my back porch and let's just see what happens. I mean, people like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't. I'm going to just speak my truth for a minute. And I just did it. It I don't know that there is anything other than just doing it that can solve fear from taking a chance. You have got to just go do it. Just see what happens. It may or may not work out. Don't be afraid of that either. Just go do it and see. I think that's really it for me. I just went and gave it a try. And I really have done that probably my whole life. Um, I just went and gave it a try. Some things don't work. Some things worked out great. I think you have to bet on yourself sometimes and see how it works out.
I love that. And because it really is about betting on you and then not even giving yourself the opportunity to fail. Like you said, if things don't work out your way, that's a pivot moment.
Excuse me.
That's a pivot moment. That's a moment for you to say, okay, well, this is not working this way. It doesn't mean stop. It just means let's try something different. Let's do something different. And I think that's what a lot of visionary people who have visions and dreams and they're wanting to do something. Maybe the first time it's not going to go about smooth. How you said your first podcast, it was muted. But I guarantee you now, every podcast after that, to check that sound to make sure it's on. So we need those type of learning moments that makes us better, that teaches us, okay, well, hey, this is what you need to do. This is something you need to do and everything. So I love those type of moments because they grow us. They grow us.
Yeah. They teach you. They teach you how to execute better. They teach you how to plan better. They're not meant to be a stop sign always. Sometimes it's a setup. It's a setup for the next bold bet, for the next best thing. And sometimes you're the one who has to deliver it. And if you stop, you impact other people. You keep other people from success when you stop doing what you were sent here to do. If God sent you on a mission to deliver a message and you get so fearful that you never deliver that message, how many thousands of people have you negatively impacted because you didn't do what you were supposed to do? And that doesn't sit well with me either. Like I said, I'm a people person. I'm a humanitarian. I love people and I want to make sure that people have the best opportunities they have at their disposal. And if I don't deliver on what I'm sent here to do, I impact those people too, just as much as I impact myself in a negative way. My voice doesn't get out, then people don't get what they're supposed to get sometimes. I think about that too.
I love that. I love that. Just do it. Tony said it best. He said, just do it. And that's what you have to do is just step out and, like you said, bet on you and believe in you. And if, I don't know. Yeah, you just got to step out and do it. So in that video, one of the videos I watched of yours, and I want to talk about the karma of kindness. And where I come up with this is you said in the video, it expands you. Kindness expands you, but a lot of times we think it empty us. We think it empties us. And people don't get karma works both ways. The good you do, as soon as you send it out, the good is coming back to you. It may not come back to you the way you gave it out, but it is going to come back to you. And you just was talking about how it makes room for you. It makes room. So tell us a little bit about that, Alana. Just showing up with kindness.
Yeah, I am a staunch believer in karma, and what you put out, you absolutely get back in life. And it is my intention to be kind to everything. So I'm not just talking about people. I'm literally talking about everything that I encounter in life. If I catch a spider in my house, I put it back outside. I feel like that negative energy towards beings that God put here comes back to you in some kind of way. I do my best to be truthful, to let my words be immaculate, to let my truth be my truth, because I don't want to set people up. I don't want to manipulate people into things by saying untruths, by lying to people. I don't want to take away people's choices. And so, kindness for me is a way of life. I may not always be the nicest person. If you know me, my words sometimes are strong, and I watch that and I pay attention to that. And if I notice that I hurt somebody's feelings, or somebody tells me that I hurt their feelings, I'm cognizant of that, and I pay attention to it, and I apologize if that's what needs to be done. But I absolutely believe that what you put out into this world, you get back tenfold. And so when I put out kindness, when I put out goodness, when I stand in my truth, um, I'm giving the world what I want back. I think you are a reflection of what you receive. You receive what you've put out. So if you find that you struggle all the time, if you find that you can never hold on to money, if you find that people are always negative to you, people are always mean to you, people don't support you, there's always somebody who got something bad to say about you. Look here first. Go look in the mirror and do an honest assessment about what you're putting out into the world. And that might be your answer about why things are so rough for you, because that's what you put out. And sometimes that's what's always on your mind. It's reflected on your face. It's reflected in your aura. When you walk past, your walk past scent don't smell great to people. Your walk past air is bad. So yeah, you gonna get some negative stares. You're gonna get some negative responses. But when you are kind, when you have put your best effort forward, I'm not saying that every day is gonna be perfect. I'm just saying the majority of them, you'll see some changes there. I guarantee you that karma that you put out, you get back.
Yeah, yeah. And but people always think karma is just the bad, the negative that's coming back to it, because we always use that, oh, they getting their karma, they're doing all of this. But you can call it karma, you can call it reciprocity, you can call it the golden rule, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. That's just pretty much saying treat people how you want to be treated. Treat people how you want to be treated, because everything we do, and I try to live my life that way as well. Everything we do, it comes back to us. And I don't ever want to be guilty of, I don't ever want to be guilty of hurting somebody or damaging someone. I always try to let people leave me better than when they came to me. I don't ever want to bruise someone that I leave them and they're worse. Like, no, you shouldn't live your life like that.
Mm-mm, mm-mm. It doesn't benefit you. It doesn't benefit the. We already live in tough times. Don't add to it. That's all. Do something nice for somebody someday, and I guarantee you'll get something nice back. And you got to recognize those nice things too. I think we struggle sometimes because we don't recognize the good sometimes that we have. Um, Sometimes just wake up and be grateful, and you'll see the what you're being grateful for later. Sometimes you got to say thank you first, and then you're like, oh, there it is. It comes later, and that's okay too. That's
Yeah,
okay.
And you know, Alana, every time you try to do good, Eva is always going to be present. Because, like right now, Tony Davis is in the comments, and he's really poking the bear here. He's like, John, you are kind, and he knows he's poking the bear with me, but I'm gonna let him make it tonight. He's active in the comments, so Tony, we let you make it. We let you make it. But
Hey,
okay.
Tony.
So okay, so next thing that you talked about in that video is authenticity and showing up as you, being you. And I know that you said the whole only child, and you have all, like I said earlier, you've always had this level of confidence that just it was undeniable. But in your video, you know, has there ever been times when you even didn't show up authentic in situations? Or do you always show up authentic?
I think you always try to show up authentic, and sometimes you get in a space, and I'll share this. I went to Hampton University. I graduated from Hampton. I'm from St. Louis though, so I grew up a lot different than a lot of those kids that I went to college with. Hampton's like or at least it was back then, the Ivy League black school, right? These kids come from a little bit of money. These black kids. I mean, my parents weren't the poorest, but they weren't the richest either, right? So I showed up, and these kids had Mercedes, and freshman year, it was like, okay, I don't have a car, and so I can think about times when I showed up in a space where I felt less than when I walked in. And so because of that, I put on an air that wasn't me. And I tried to fit in, right? And it was like, let me try and fit in this space. Like I feel out of place because I don't feel like this doesn't represent me. My voice changed, the way that I held my head changed sometimes, and it was like, oh my gosh, like I don't fit here. And you know what I did? I think as I got older, I started to realize that again is manipulation. And I'm not a manipulator. You're manipulating people, you're preventing them from the experience of you. And because of that, they don't grow. So they don't get to experience Alana from St. Louis. They were experiencing Alana at Hampton. So they didn't get my all that I learned and all that I gained and who my parents were and who my grandparents were growing up. They didn't get that from me. They got this little girl who was at Hampton who was trying to create an identity that didn't exist before today, which was completely fabricated, completely made up, and an untruth. And because of that, I didn't give them the learning that they were supposed to have. And so I started to really recognize who I was and what I could deliver to the earth, to the people, through my truth, and recognizing that I bring something to the table too. What I bring to the table is not always going to fit into this square hole. My the round hole, I might be the square peg, and so you might have to open up your little round hole a little bit so I can fit in. And that's how you grow. That's the blessing of diversity, right? Is people bring to the table their experiences, they bring to the table their knowledge, and we all grow because of it. And so once I found myself valuable enough to bring what I had to the table to grow the space, people started welcoming whatever I brought. And I started to acknowledge that as a blessing, right? A blessing to me and a blessing to them. And so yeah, I of course I did. Of course I showed up as an inauthentic Alana. I've done that. I've been there. I've done it as an adult, like getting into roles that I didn't think I deserved, right? Like getting into these roles at a job or even in an organization where it was like, I'm not ready for this role. I'm gonna apply for this job and I'm probably not gonna get it. And then I got it. And now I had to do this job. And I was like, I ain't never been nobody's boss before. Like I'm somebody's boss. How am I supposed to do this? And so I had to find my authenticity in that space too. And I think being truthful in those spaces really helps too. People honor when you are truthful, when you say you're scared. I don't know. If you go in that space and you say, I don't really know. I'm gonna be honest, I've never done this before. And so I'm gonna learn with you. People loved me as a manager because that's how I showed up. They loved who I was as their manager because I showed up and I was truthful and I said, I have never done this before. And so we gonna learn this together. And because of that, they accepted me, they honored me in the space, they saw my authenticity pull through, and it continued to, it made me build a confidence, right? Like it made me build a confidence in my true voice. And so I have, since I found that, I have never wanted to put that down. That confidence in who I was, that confidence in my true voice actually is what makes me so magnetic. And I recognize that I'm a charismatic individual, that I have a magnetism about me, that I attract things to me. I recognize that. And it's because I speak truth at all times, with care, with kindness, truth with kindness, not just truth for the sake of truth. When you do that, you manipulate people. Just truth without kindness is mean. Kindness without truth is manipulation.
And I think, and I love how you said even in adulthood, you found yourself doing that, whether it was for a job or something like that. And I think we all hear it. It's normally used when it's in regards to dating. They always talk about the representative. And many of us are showing up with the representative, like you said, on our jobs, in our churches, in our families. We are trying to fit in or give you what we think is going to make you like us and accept us. And I think we have to get to this place to realize that we are uniquely made. And when we say uniquely made, that means we are supposed to be different. God put thought into each and every one of us, thought that makes us stand out from everyone else. So you're never supposed to fit in. You're never supposed to fit in. You're always supposed to be different. And that's you. That's your authentic self.
Absolutely. I think, and again, that's what makes this world go round. I think when we shy away from that, when we shy away from that diversity at the table, we don't learn. You start to get everybody in the same room dressed the same way. I mean, that's what we have on social media, if I'm honest. You got everybody with the same outfits on, with the same shaped bodies. Now I need to go buy me a body. I'm gonna go buy this body from Dr. Whoever who's on social media, and and we start to expect that that's what it's supposed to be. So if my derriere is not perfectly round, if my boobs are not perfectly tear shaped, then I'm not who I need to be acceptable in this world. And that's not, we couldn't be further from the truth. You have so much variation, so much variety. Variety truly is the spice of life. Bring who you are to the table and see first if you really aren't accepted. And I guarantee you're gonna be surprised. You'll be surprised every time. So many people accept you just for who you are. And honestly, when you look at social media and see the people who are making the most money in social media, I'm just using social media as an example, but if you look at social media and see the people who are making the most money on these platforms, the people who listen to how they sound. They got different sounding accents. They got different ways of delivering content. They dress a little different than other people. It's those people who stand out, who look different from the rest. It's the black sheep in the white group, not the other way around. It's not the other person that's the sheeple. It's the one that stands out. Those are the people who stand out, and those are the people who are well respected too. And I'm again just using social media as an example, but that's true in other spaces too.
Yeah. Yeah. And every time you try to fit in, that means you are suppressing yourself to fit into a smaller box or environment. And we have to get to the place that if people aren't accepting of us, we have to do some accepting. And that's accepting the truth that these are not my people. Because if you can't come to the table 100% whole, authentically, you at the wrong table. You're at the wrong table. You're at the
You're
wrong
at the
table.
wrong table. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. And I think it starts with, I was talking to a friend about this today, but I think it starts with acknowledging the love that you have for yourself. I think it starts there. Something that I do on a daily basis is I have my affirmations that I said. I wake up to slow mornings. I love saying that. I wake up to slow mornings. I slowly rise and I give myself the opportunity to enjoy my morning. But one of the things that I do when I wake up is the first words out of my mouth, but thank you, God. And the second is, I love you, Alana. I love you, Alana. And I have to love me in order to be able to see that my authenticity is acceptable. It doesn't have to be acceptable to you, though, John. It just has to be acceptable to me because I love me. And as long as I show up that way, what I have found in life, honestly, is that you'll love me too because I love me. You'll find that love for me. People will be drawn to you because of your confidence in you. But I start with recognizing that I love me. And I had to define that for myself when I first started saying it. And I'll tell that story. But I had to define that for myself. I had to, when I started saying it, if I'm honest, I didn't know what it meant. I didn't know what it meant. I looked myself in the mirror one day though, saying it. I just thought it was something important to say. I love you, Alana. I looked myself in the mirror one day and I said it to myself and I just stared at myself. I just looked at myself in the mirror and I said, I love you, Alana. And I started crying because I could not really define what that meant. What did that even mean to say that I loved me? And I started to think, I know exactly what it means when I say I love my mama and I know how to love on her. I know exactly what it means when I said I love my husband and I know how to love on him. I knew things that he liked. I know exactly what it meant to even say that I love my little dog. I knew what that meant. But I wasn't 100% sure about what it meant to love Alana. I didn't even know the things that I loved. I couldn't define it for myself. And so I took some time and I really sat with that to understand how I loved me and how I showed love to me and what that meant and what I needed to continue to do to show love to me every day. And that has been so life changing for me, not just in the space of my career, but in the space of how I take care of myself and how I take care of my body and how I move my body and the things that I want to do, drinking water every day, the things that I put in my body. It's changed all of that to really sit and understand like, how do you love on yourself? You can say that, but love is an action word, even when it comes to you. And so I have had to really sit and think about that at that time and allow that to change who I was and allow that to mold and shift how I saw myself. And it has built confidence in ways that I don't think anything else could have.
Yeah, I love
Recognizing my purpose.
recognizing my purpose. I love that. And because a lot of and we all have a purpose. And sometimes I get it. We question what our purpose is on earth. Like why are we here? We question it, but some of you already know it, but you've suppressed it or you've denied it for a long period of time. And sometimes we just have to open our eyes and see, hey, like what? Because I try to think like I always think for me is what do I do effortless with excellence? Like what do I
Mhm.
do without even thinking about it? Like what do I do great? And that's kind of like how I started finding my true purpose. What do I do effortless? Do excellent, effortless, and don't care about what anybody thinks about what I'm giving to the world. And once I started doing that, then it opens your eyes to so much more. But you definitely have to recognize why am I here? What is my purpose here on earth? And yeah, unfortunately, some people they still don't know. But
Yeah. No. And that's okay too.
yeah,
I think
that's okay.
sometimes sometimes you got to go through some stuff to get to where you're going, and that's okay. If you continue to bet on yourself, if you continue to bet on the people around you, and as we bet on one another, I think you figure it out. You figure it out. It comes, and sometimes it changes, right? You think you know your purpose. You think you know exactly what you're doing in life, and you're on this path, and you feel like you heard that from God. And sometimes God is like, Yep. That's what you were supposed to be doing then. Now you're supposed to be doing this now. And sometimes it changes. And that's okay. Life is meant to move around and be flexible. It's not meant to be rigid. You don't have to stick to one thing. You can change your mind, you can change your goals, you can shift. I only allow myself 5 years with a goal. So I give myself limits on goals. I kind of set them in 5 year time frames. And so not because I'm forcing myself to achieve that goal within the 5 year time frame, but it's time to assess it to see if it's time to change it. Like, does the goal make sense for what I'm trying to do? Do the things that I like to do, the things that I am doing, are those in line with the goals? Maybe the goals need to change. Nothing wrong with that.
There's
And
nothing wrong
sometimes
with that.
it's rejecting you. Your goals are rejecting you, which I think is interesting. You think you want this job, for example. You think, okay, I'm gonna go get this job, and you've applied to this job umpteen times, 50, 11 times, you applied to this job, and you keep getting this rejection letter. Is it the right job? Maybe that rejection is protection. Maybe it's redirection. Maybe it's time to look for something different. And that's okay. You can look for something different, and maybe God is giving you that freedom, that failure freedom, to move on. Okay, it's time to look this direction. And sometimes when we do that, I mean, if you think back about things where you were rejected, or you lost a relationship, or relationship ended, oftentimes when you look back at it, you can see what was coming after it was a better opportunity for you. And so rejection is okay for that. For me, that's how my answer to rejection for me is that it was protection. It was redirection. It moved me into what I was supposed to go into next. And so I think we need to learn to accept that sometimes it don't feel good. It don't feel good while it's happening to you. But if you can look back at it and learn what you were supposed to have learned, and you can see where you were supposed to go from there, that's the T. Not what you went through, but what happened after.
Mhm. 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 Yeah, and I love how you said the rejection sometimes is redirection, and that made me think of the job that I work today. I never forget, before I started this company, I had, for 10 years, I had applied at this company several times. Several times. I had a friend I met at a job years and years ago. And when she left the company, she went to this new company. She went to the where I work now. This was 13, 15 years ago. And she always would say, "Hey, John, you need to come over here." So I would always apply for the job, and I wouldn't hear anything back from the company. I wouldn't do anything like that. And now that I work at the company, I now see, when I was applying for the job back then, I wasn't ready for the job. Like right now, all my skill sets match the job perfectly. And it was just, I needed a little bit more training. I needed a little bit more system knowledge. I needed a little bit better understanding of just different things. So when I did apply for the job and I got it this time, like 4 years ago, it was like a seamless thing. Like my interview lasted 20 minutes and we talked about church about 15 minutes of that 20 minutes. So it was like, God just knew at that time, this is where you are supposed to be. It wasn't that the goal that I had to work here, it wasn't that that goal was wrong. It was just I wasn't ready for the goal when I was trying to get there. And he had to redirect me to other places to equip me to excel where I am today. So,
Hmm. Hmm.
yeah. Hmm.
And sometimes I feel like that's what we. One of the things that I say, I have a lot of little philosophies in life that I use to help get me through the day. One of them is I don't chase, I attract. And so sometimes when you are trying for something too hard and it's just not working out, and it's like that's a sign. That's a sign that you are chasing this thing, and that thing doesn't necessarily isn't meant for you right now. It may be meant for, like, to your point, John. It may be that you need a couple more years under your belt. It's not meant for you right now, but it also could be putting you in a place or in a space to damage you if you got in right
Hmm.
now.
Hmm.
Sometimes you gotta watch what you pray for, because God will give it to you, and then now you got this thing that you don't want, that you probably should not have wanted. And so when I see things repelling from me too easily, it's like, oh no, that's not for me right now. I accept it, I respect that, and I let it go. That's okay. I'm gonna let that go for now. I'm gonna come back to it later, assess it, and see if I still want that. I may not even want it. Usually, I don't want it. Usually, it's like, oh man, no, I've grown beyond that. It's time to move on to something new. But I think that's cool too. Like I don't like to chase anything. I don't like to force anything. I allow things to come to me naturally. I put that energy out there in order to receive it, and I focus on what I want to manifest in my life,
I love that.
and I
Focus
allow
on
it
what
to come to me.
I love that. Focus on what I want to manifest in my life. That is just like, because I mean, manifest is the word that people use all the time now, but how focused are you on those things that you want to manifest in it? Like, are you putting in the work to make it manifest? So when it does manifest, you equipped to handle it and be ready for it. I love that. I love that. I love that. So another thing you said in your video, and Alana, we ain't gonna even get a chance to cover everything I wanted to talk about tonight because we almost at the hour. But you
Okay.
you talked about make others feel seen. Like, how do we make someone else feel seen?
I people talk about sitting at the table, the proverbial table, like you have a space at the table, and I think that table is not always just in a corporate space. That table is everywhere. Where do you have the opportunity to refer somebody? Where do you have the opportunity to connect people? I think that's one way to make people feel seen is to be able to connect them with other people and acknowledge when you see something good in people. There's nothing wrong with telling people that, oh, you look beautiful today, you look handsome today, I saw how you delivered that message today, you did a great job when you got up there. Sometimes people are doing a lot of these things scared, and so they have this fear, they have this hesitancy going into these things, and sometimes it's the people who are high up in these companies that still have this hesitancy, this feeling of I'm not the best, I'm not who I appear to be on this stage, I'm somebody totally different. And so sometimes it's okay to just let people know that you saw them, you acknowledged them, and let them know that they did a great job, that you heard them. And I'll be honest, like I'm one of those people that if I see something where you have an opportunity to improve, I don't mind letting you know that either. I saw you were nervous up there. If I can give you some suggestion, if I can give you some advice, maybe try this next time. And that still makes people feel seen. Again, stand in your truth. Stand in your truth. What they saying out there?
No, they say no. You said that still make them be seen. So
Oh,
they'll be like, "Oh, I got seen for my errors, my mess up." But those are the wrong-minded folks. So yeah, whatever. So
yeah.
okay, yeah, yeah.
That's okay. I want you to, and I do again. I try to lean in with kindness. Just like I saw you get nervous up there, and usually they'll say I was so nervous, and I'll say I saw you get nervous, but maybe try this next time, or do this, and give people tools when you see it. You don't always have to let people fall on their laurels, or let people fall on their face, to give them tools to help them. Sometimes you just give people the honor of not having to say, "Oh, I did so horrible." Yeah, I saw you get nervous up there. Let me help you with this. So I think that's one way of making people feel seen. I also think, honestly, just acknowledging people where they are. Sometimes you see somebody and they have their head down and they are in a space, and you walk up to them and you just say, whatever has been on your heart to say to that person. Sometimes God will implant something in your heart to say to that person. You can walk up to them and give them something, give them a little nugget. I think people need to feel seen out here, especially with what's going on in society today. It's rough out here to live this life that's going on right now. To have to struggle through all the things that we're going through politically, all the things that we're going through in our governments, all the things that we're going through, like just even from a racial standpoint, there's so much happening. Acknowledging people on social media, I try to acknowledge people when I see them and I see them doing something good. Oh, girl, I see you working out. Keep going, keep going. I want people to know that I see the work that they're putting in for themselves and it's acknowledged. And a lot of people don't have nice things to say about you always, but I always try to find something nice to say about people if I can. If there's an opportunity there, I want to smile at you. I want to give you a little pat on the back, something. People deserve to feel seen. I feel like little animals deserve to feel seen too. So I'm one of them people. I'm a tree hugger.
Oh my God.
Babies.
So I'm gonna ask the people out in the comments, like, how often do you make others feel seen? So drop your comments in there, and what are some tips you use to help other people feel seen? Because I'm like you, Alana. I try to be a great encourager to people. When I see them doing their thing, because I understand it's hard to stand in front of people. It's hard to know that people are judging you for what you are doing, and sometimes you just need that person to say, "Hey, you did a good job. You
Yeah,
did a good job. You nailed it. You nailed it," and that will change. I mean, somebody's life. That'll change their life, and they'll always remember you for that.
they will. They will. I remember like, I won't say every single time, but whenever I felt like I didn't do great and people came up to me and said, "Oh, no, you did a good job." I remember those instances. I remember those people. I remember, sometimes I'll ask, like, what do you think I did well? What stood out to you? What made you come up to me and say that? Just so that I can understand, like, what was the delivery technique that I chose that time that really resonated with you, and so I can repeat it.
I love that. I love that. And now one thing I try not to do, Alana, though, is because sometimes you do this and you say this one word, it set them off. You be like, "Oh, you look real nice today." They be like, "Today? I didn't look good yesterday." And you be like, that's when the devil be working. I go want to say, "No, you really didn't." But no, I just say, "No, I didn't mean no harm by just today." But they be like, "Oh, I just look good today." It's like, lady, just pipe down. You
Just
just accept the comment and keep it moving. So
Just accept this acknowledgement and move on. Like, no, I didn't mean nothing bad by that. I didn't mean nothing bad by it. You look amazing right now, this moment. That's
in this
all.
moment, yeah, you look amazing right now. So yeah, but yeah, it's funny how but like I said, I love how you said just make people feel seen, because everyone wants to feel that someone sees them, because it's so easy to get lost in the shadows in the world, because we're in such a loud loud world. It's so easy for you to fall into the shadows of everyone else, or be silenced because you don't feel your voice is as big as anyone else's. But yeah, it's good to just pass them by. And funny thing that we mentioned that is because I shared this guy that I follow on social media, and he's a chef and he's trying to like build his business or whatever. So I shared his reel in my story, and he sent me a message and he says, "Say, man, I thank you for doing that." And I said, "You're welcome." And he was like, "Well, you didn't have to do that." And I responded back and I said, "Yeah, I did have to do it. It's my responsibility to help you get to where you're trying to go." And that's the type of attitude that we have to take. If you have an opportunity to push someone forward into further into their future, use that opportunity, and it's going to come back to you eventually anyway in some form. But just do that all the way back to the act of kindness. Just be kind to people if you have that opportunity to do it. It
Mhm.
don't cost you nothing.
One of the things, so I dance on Wednesdays. I love to dance. I love to do cardio, and I love to do cardio dance. But the women who I dance with on Wednesdays, sometimes I do some cardio on Sundays. But the ladies who I dance with, they own their own businesses, and so that's another thing. Even though I love to dance with them, and I love to post my videos to show that I am, doing this work and I'm dancing and I can make these movements, I always make sure to tag them in it because it's their business. I want people to know about their business and be able to find them on social media and show up and go to their events and utilize their business through it. And they do the same for me. Like when they post, they tag the bold bet, right? Like they tag me on my business page so that they can acknowledge that, oh, okay, this is the bold bet. She's out here showing us how to take a bold bet. She's out here dancing with us. And so I think those are ways to acknowledge people too, is really referring them, refer her, refer him, refer those people that you support by going to their businesses, get their money up, help them. And we can only do it together.
Yeah, we can
We
only
have to
do it
do it together.
together. Yeah, Tyson said I try and do it every day. So he tries to make someone feel seen every day. Yeah. Yeah. I think, yeah, that is a great gift and I even tell people this here because I will always ask someone, like if I meet them at the gym or something like that, I say, hey, what's your name? And the next time I see them, I try my best because I always do some type of name association for that person. I remember their name because I think that's one of the greatest gifts that you can give someone is remember their name. Like remember who they said they were or show them that they are important opposed to going to them next time and say, hey, I'm sorry, I forgot your name. What did you say it was? Like make people feel seen. Yeah. But
Yeah.
y'all, Alana's video, at first I thought they was pole dancing strip classes because she's in here with her stilettos on. I was like, huh, what type of class is this she got going on up here?
Nope, not a pole dancing class. It's called stilettos. Dancing in our heels. We are here, doing our feminine, giving our feminine energy, showing the people that we can move. We all of us are no, I was gonna say all of us in our 40s. That's not true, but I am. So I'm like, look, I can still move in my heels. I'm proud of myself.
Well, go for real. Like, go follow Alana on TikTok, Instagram, the bold bet, because like the videos are sexy. I ain't gonna lie, they hot. Like they are smoking hot. And I was like, huh, what is this? P Valley Players Club video she done posted on here.
But look, thank you. Thank you. I'm gonna go ahead and accept that as a compliment. Thank you, John.
Nah, it's a compliment. You look hot, Alana. You do. You look good. You look real good. So Courtney says, often working in education and having a dang, I can barely see that. Social. Let's see, I'm gonna read it over here. And having a social work background definitely helped mold my methods. I love that. Not only that, but for me, not being seen as a child and a teenager was something I struggled. So I made it my duty to do.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love that. Oh, I love that. Mm-hmm. I love that.
Good. Yeah, using your experience to help support others, acknowledging how you felt as a child, and using that to propel others. That's what this life is about.
Yeah,
that's what this is about. Giving people the chances that you weren't always given. And we don't all have to agree on that. We don't all have to agree that that's the method, but supporting people is the key, and that's what will always be important to me. Mm-hmm. Supporting other people, however they need to, showing up how they need it, and you sometimes the best person to deliver it in that way.
And you said something, I mean, that is so key. Showing up how they need you, not how you want to give you to them. Show up how they need you. It's more effective when because there was one time I was doing something for someone and I was doing what I thought was best for them. And I was getting a lot of resistance there. I was getting a lot of resistance. And then it hit me, John, you're showing up how you feel that they need you. Show up how they've shown you they need you. And once I made that transition for them, I now see a difference in our interaction. I see a difference in them. So yeah, and the way they receive it now. So show up how they need you to show up. Mm-hmm. I love that. That is so true. Yeah. So Alana, what's next for you?
I'm working on a master's of public health right now. I love this program. I mean, and it aligns with what I do in my corporate job, which is ensuring that we can have diverse patient populations in clinical trials. Whole nother lane, right? And so working on this MPH is giving me the opportunity to really learn about policy as it relates to clinical trials and as it relates to public health and healthcare policy. And so I will be doing an internship coming up here soon as a part of my program with the state of New York, and helping to support identifying ways to reach the community out there, and helping with federally qualified healthcare centers, and making sure that people understand how to support their healthcare. That's another thing that is I'm extremely passionate about. I love that. I love doing that type of work, that community engagement, that patient outreach, healthcare policy work. And so that's what's next right now. Like I said, the podcast has been on a little bit of a pause while I get through this space. And as soon as I get through that, all the videos are gonna release again. But yeah, so that's what I'm working on right now. I kind of have to prioritize that and put the bold bet on pause. But the bold bet work will always be working. Relaying is always working. I'm still always working relaying. So if people need those services, they're looking for mentorship, they're looking for consultancy, especially as it relates to growing their corporate careers, and helping somebody, walking alongside somebody who can help them put their vision into strategy, into action, and into impact. I'm your girl. So I can help there.
Yeah, and I'm gonna correct you on something, Alana. You said the bold bet is on pause right now, but one of the tips that you gave in your video was you said live the advice that you give. And even though you're not filming videos right now, you are fully living out the advice that you give. So the bold bet, the podcast is just in real time, in life form, that you're airing it every day because you're living the advice that you give. I love that on that video that I watched today. That was one of your tips. Live the advice that you give.
I love that. And that is absolutely, I love a reframe. Let's frame it right. I love that. I love that. Trust the reframe, trust your skills. And I do that. I trust my skills, listening to my intuition, remembering my resilience, and all those things apply on a daily basis in person. So I don't need to put that on social media. I don't need to put that on a podcast for that to be a delivery. The bow bet absolutely is alive and well every day,
Every day.
in my real life. Yeah.
Yeah, in your real life. Oh, yeah. Alana, this has been amazing, 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 amazing. And I thank you so much for coming on the podcast. And, once you do get back to the videos and everything, but everybody go out and follow Alana because like we just said, even though her podcast is not like airing on a weekly basis like it normally does, you can still watch her in full effect on her social media. She posts very inspiring stuff and she posts tips and all of this other kind of stuff. And then you can also see the P Valley videos too out there. So so you can follow her on Instagram and TikTok. It's the Bold Bet on both of those, and then on YouTube she has a YouTube channel, and you can see the video that I'm referencing on there. It's out there, and that is the Bold Bet with Alana Miller. So go out and subscribe to her. So once she does come back and start releasing videos out there, you guys will be the first to see them. So go ahead and do that. So Alana, what's your final word for everybody tonight?
Oh man, I think I got a bunch of final words. I think stop waiting on the world to agree that you're ready. They're not gonna agree that you're ready. Go ahead. Some people will recognize your vision quickly. Most people won't, and that's okay. Some will understand it a little bit later, and some may not ever get it, and that's okay. And so their hesitation cannot be your limitation, though. Keep going. Trust your skills. Like I said, listen to what comes into your spirit, listen to your intuition, remember your resilience. And I never chase, I attract. I recommend the same for you. Don't chase anything. Allow things to come to you naturally. I don't want anything that don't want me. I don't want nothing that don't want me. If you live in that way, I guarantee you will honor your relationships better. The relationships will honor you better. It reduces being manipulated. And just remember that rejection is protection. Sometimes it's redirection. Anything that happens to you happens for you. And so I firmly believe that life is meant to grow you in every way. Sometimes it don't feel great. Sometimes it feels like a struggle, but it's meant for you for some reason. And it may not be clear today, but if you keep on living life and keep pushing through, it may be clear tomorrow. And don't forget that when you fail fast and fail forward. There's nothing wrong with failure. Failure sometimes is freedom. It's not a final destination. It's what propels you to the next step. And don't forget to bet on yourself. Bet on me too. Bet on somebody else. Let's bet on each other. Buy things from people who you support. Refer people who you frequent their business. Mentor people. Hire people. Be that voice at the table. Speak people's names in rooms that they won't have an opportunity to get into. Recognize them. Remind them of who they are. Sometimes other people forget who they are. Help them to remember that we don't win alone. We win together. So move together, build this thing together, use your voices, take the chances. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be bold. So bet on you, bet on me, bet on one another. Lead bold, live bold, and let's bet on us together. We'll always do it if we do it together.
I love that. So reach out and touch your neighbor's hand. We about to go home tonight. Let's do the benediction. Reach out and touch somebody's hand. Make the world a better place because you can.
It's so wrong with you, Don, but that's okay. I love you.
I love you too. This was amazing. Like, this was really, really good. This was really good. And but everybody, we will see you guys next Monday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, same place, Facebook, LinkedIn, X, YouTube. And yeah, we'll see you next Monday. I think everybody have a great week. Peace.
Yeah. Real life stories and transparent conversations, hustle and grind, love and relationships, with all the tools for living your best life. It's the Dope Ass Dude Podcast. The Dope Ass Dude Podcast.